And by the looks of things, it's going to be Castleford in the white jerseys to kick off, attacking as we will watch from left to right. And Barry, you have predicted a big Castleford victory, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, and I think what's important for Castleford Tigers is the start of the game. If I'm in a Castleford shirt, if I'm a Castleford player, in those first 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to drive home the fact that Huddersfield Giants have relatively little to play for. And Simon Wolford and the Huddersfield Giants are already looking towards next season. And for Castleford Tigers, if they can make the game fast, the pace fast, the intensity right where it needs to be, then this is their game.
OK, here we go then. 80 minutes that will tell us a lot about Huddersfield and tell us even more, perhaps, about the Castleford Tigers and their proposed charge to the grand final. It is Huddersfield who will have the first use of the ball in this first half, the opening set. Huddersfield tonight, as you can see, in their changed strip, light blue, basically, Manchester City's colours. And this is Danny Brough, and he gets the ball away. Is it light blue, Terry, or is it grey?
I think it's light blue, Eddie, or grey. It's one of them.
Well, that's a great help. Here is Danny Brough with a high kick at the end of this opening set. Greg Eden's after it. Oh, and Greg Eden has lost the ball, and so Huddersfield will get another set of 6 here in quick succession. Akuma ties the man who's dropped on it gratefully.
Well, good pressure from Jordan Turner getting in the eye line of Greg Eden. You can just see he had a little look up what was in front of him. Huddersfield keep it simple, maybe open it up when they get down near the Cass's line.
Here's Ryan Hinchcliffe for the Huddersfield Giants. Hinchcliffe will retire at the end of the season, so it's a maximum of 3 games remaining in his career. And here is a chance for an early try from Adam O'Brien, and Ben Thaler having a very close look at the grounding here. He'll hand this upstairs to video referee Phil Bentham in the opening minute and a half, and what's more, he's got a try on the field. Well, this could be a glorious chance for Huddersfield to get off to a flying start. And has Adam O'Brien claimed his 5th try of the season, Stu?
Well, the try's been given on the field, so he just needs to see something of the ball on the ground in the in-goal area. Can we see anything from that one? I don't think that proves or disproves anything. The crucial thing here is that it's been given as a try on the field, so we need to find something to go against that,
and I think
in order to go across. When we see the ball, does it get down to the ground? Looks like it may have got down at that point.
It's not down yet. It's not down yet. And it's what happens behind that flurry of legs.
Well, we can see the ball there. Does it get down on the ground at that point?
I don't think it does.
No, I don't think Junior Moore's thighs stop it.
But you can still see that the ball's up off the floor at that point. You know, tracking the ball all the way through. Phil Bentham will be trying to see where it goes at all times.
And Shane gets the arm underneath it there as well.
He does. That's the closest it gets to the ground. Can we see from this point?
If it's inconclusive from there, what decision do they give?
Well, they will go with the try in the field, but I think that's sufficient evidence to show that the ball's been held up. On that shot there, you can see that it hasn't been grounded, and it doesn't get any further down than that. So I think there's sufficient evidence on this decision to overturn the on-field decision of try and give no try. You can see it's held up there. We saw the shot before. For me, if I'm making that decision, I would overturn that.
Even though the referee gets on top of him and sees as an aerial view, probably led to look, he's coming round near the top of your screen, gets into position and crouches forward.
Even though the ball, you can see the ball's held up there, I think there's sufficient evidence there to overturn the try.
So if you were Phil Bentham, you would be pressing the red button at this point.
I would be saying no try.
He's looked at it about a dozen times. It doesn't get any clearer, other than the fact that the ball is not touching the ground, in our opinion.
Well, I think it's held up there.
Here we go, I think. This is the time. Is it try or no try? Well, that's shocked me. That has stunned me. If the try is given, and Huddersfield won't be complaining, Simon Wolford won't. It's a glorious start for the Huddersfield Giants. And Adam O'Brien, he's only missed 1 game all of this year, and he's just scored his 5th try of the season.
Well, who said that they've got nothing to play for? Adam O'Brien when he goes to the right-hand side, everyone's expecting him to go left. He's picked out Junior Moores, and let's not forget Junior Moores. He scored a try last week at Hull FC. He's big, he's powerful, takes some stopping, but he's on the back foot. Adam O'Brien, good play, jumps out, attacks the big man and gets over the line.
Hasn't he come on this year, Adam O'Brien? He's been working alongside Ryan Hinchcliffe, Cruz Lehman. Got a really good trio of hookers.
Danny Brough makes no mistake with his first kick. Huddersfield lead 6 points to 0.
Well, it was a kick that set them in this position. High kick for Greg Eden to try and deal with it, went through his hands, a repeated set, Adam O'Brien finished. You know, the last time, if we go back to July, as we see the try given here, as it was awarded by the referee, when the Giants came here in July, they repeatedly attacked Michael Shenton and Greg Eden on the left-hand side of the field, the far side of the field. They've gone away again that way here with some first joy from the high kick. And, you know, the Giants were fantastic to watch last week at Warrington. They may have lost by 2 points, but it was a fast, competitive, thrilling game. And I think we'll get exactly the same tonight.
Stuart, I don't want to pick over the decision by the video referee constantly and consistently, but he's given no wriggle room, is he, by the on-field decision. That ball, well, I think all 4 of us up here, 5 of us have plainly seen it wasn't on the ground, and yet Phil Bentham had to give it because of the on-field decision. There are a lot of things to sort out in this sport at the moment. Is that one of them, that we should be sorting this out? Well, the no try or try decisions handed up.
Yeah, well, he will have ruled that there was insufficient evidence on his part to overrule the on-field decision. But then it comes down to opinion then, doesn't it? And I think the whole idea of that was to take the opinion out of the way.
OK, here's the big fellow for the Huddersfield Giants, the new signing, Matangi. And he will play the ball there to the try scorer. Here is Danny Brough. It's been all Huddersfield in the opening 3.5 minutes, and they will say they've had a bit of bad luck over the past 2 weeks. A little bit of luck goes for them. There'll be no complaints in that particular part of West Yorkshire.
Well, what that try has done is it's lit up this game. We said that Huddersfield Giants could go into this game and say, we've either got nothing to gain or nothing to lose, and with that try it will put them on the side of we've got nothing to lose. Let's play quick, let's throw caution to the wind and really challenge this tough Tigers side.
Well, Huddersfield beaten at Warrington by 2 points, as I say. They lost 16-42 at home to Wakefield a fortnight ago. Their top 4 ambitions are done and dusted for 2018. But they're here tonight to give a good account of themselves against Castleford, who are now moving the ball about freely. Down the left-hand side, they find Michael Shenton, who cuts in field. That's a good tackle low down, though, by Jordan Turner. And here it is now with Ben Roberts in the side for the injured Luke Gale. McShane down the flank again. Greg Eden gets over in the corner. Well, Greg Eden made the error that gifted Huddersfield the chance to get over for the first try. Greg Eden has just made up for that mistake with their first try, and Castleford are on the board. 11 tries now in his last 5 games and 5 minutes for Greg Eden.
Well, Greg Eden scores the try, but before the game we talked about the hard work of James Clare, who takes a high ball over on his side, the right side. It's a wonderful decision by Ben Roberts to step back, resist the temptation to kick the ball to the long side corner. He thinks he sees an opportunity, and that man, Paul McShane, right in the middle of it, delivers a peach of a pass.
And the outstanding to watch. To go that short side, Paul McShane at the right time. When he needs to deliver that pass, they do. And they're phenomenal. They go from one side of the field to the other. Every time that they run in and they move, they're making plays. No one's breaking stride. The passes are clinical. And I'm sure that'll please the coach, Darryl Powell, who said maybe our attack wasn't quite on point last week.
No Gale or Ellis in the Castleford side tonight, so Paul McShane will kick the goals. He's kicked 4 goals for Castleford this year in the Super League so far. And you're right, the way that Castleford play from left to right and right to left, the wingers are invited to score tries. And I even think that if the names O'Connor and McDermott were on the wings, they might get a few tries if they played in.
I think we might drop it, Eddie.
Well, providing you hang on. McShane has just pushed it the wrong side of the uprights. Castleford 4, Huddersfield 6. Giants hang on to the lead.
Yeah, there's a natural tendency, isn't there, really, to attack the larger side of the field, the wider spaces. But even on the last play here, his team are clever enough to recognise we've got more attackers than they've got defenders. We might only need 10 metres, a thin strip of that left-hand side of the field. It was enough for them there to get their first try of the night.
So Danny Brough will restart for Huddersfield. Almost 500 career appearances. By the way, that that goal that he kicked, he takes him to 1,600 goals in his career and over 3,700 points. Now he is a point-scoring machine, is 35-year-old Danny Brough. And he's an integral member of this Huddersfield Giants lineup, and it will be for a little bit longer to come because he's signed on for next year as well.
Played for Cas back in 2006 and 7, didn't he? Former Man of Steel winner.
This is Grant Millington now for Castleford. Prop forward in the last 3 matches as well. McShane is the dummy half. Liam Watts will take the ball forward. Makes good ground, gets to his feet, plays it to McShane. McShane's got McMeekin on his right shoulder. McMeekin hangs on, then gets rid of the ball to Jake Truman. Truman into centre field to Millington. Millington then finds Roberts. Roberts will find Matautia. Matautia goes wide again. This is Shenton! And Shenton loses the ball.
Again, Andy good to watch. They play off an offload, and then all of a sudden everybody fans out, they get into space, they get outside their defenders, and they just look to keep moving the ball, attacking and trying to get a one-on-one with the defender.
The Tigers are probably at the most dangerous when they've just scored a try. The number of occasions over the last few seasons when they go back-to-back, put a try on the board, and then quickly get to the other end of the field and put another one. They're playing those bursts, don't they, of pace and points. That's the reason why, 1, they're exciting to watch, and 2, they're giving themselves a great chance of winning the grand final this year.
Good work in defence there, though, from Jordan Turner, the number 4, just going over to the top end of your screen. I think he made contact with Shenton's arm. There he is. And that forced the error. So it's Huddersfield in possession with Jake Marmo. 1 on his back, playing on the wing, though, here tonight. Now Michael Lawrence will take it forward. 250th appearance for Huddersfield last week for Michael Lawrence. And Brough in centre field, spreads it wide. This is a good run. It's a tremendous run, this, from young Wardle. He's got Innes Senior on his outside. Senior's got away, but that's good work by James Clare. Forces him into touch, and look at the celebrations from Castleford for that defence. And young Innes Senior nearly through.
Well, outstanding work, both sides of the ball. What a booming pass from Danny Brough to put Jake Wardle on the outside shoulder of his opposite. And he does a remarkable job, and were it not for the efforts of James Clare, who's had a couple of really unselfish touches so far early in this game.
That's the future for Huddersfield, isn't it? Jake Wardle, Innes Senior's got a twin brother as well, Louis, and there's another young lad as well called Dom Young, who's just 17 years of age. Luke Robinson and Andy Kelly doing a decent job. Jake Wardle on his debut, he scored 2 tries, didn't he?
He did.
Phenomenal player.
And I had to look twice there, and I thought for a moment the other Wardle had suddenly switched clubs. He's a spitting image of him, isn't he?
He's big and powerful, isn't he? Look at him, he's got some speed, he's got a decent handoff. He'll back himself, and that's what you want from any youngster that's given an opportunity in Super League.
It is the speed that is the difference between the two brothers. Look at the powerful handoff on Jake Webster. Jake Webster, a very, very experienced centre. He's made to look a little bit foolish chasing shadows, and it's the speed element of Jake Wardle that's probably the difference between the two brothers.
Here's a penalty for Castleford. Too much messing around at the play the ball. Huddersfield certainly are taking the advantage of blooding some of their youngsters to emerge from, as the lads have said, Luke Robinson and Andy Kelly's under-19 side this year. Senior and Wardle, there's also Sam Hewitt. They're all names to remember for the future.
Well, Simon Wolford wants to know and realise in these next 3 games what he's got at his disposal next year. When the big games are coming around, who can he put in? Who's he got confidence in?
Liam Watts fighting to get to his feet, does so, plays the ball to McShane. Here comes Nathan Massey now, who's forward in all the Super 8 fixtures so far. Nathan Massey found McShane. Eventually the ball gets to Roberts. Here is Matautia joining in the line, the full-back. They seem to have found the answer to the Zach Hardacre problem. Castleford Tigers in the shape of Peter Matautia. They tried the Quentin Lala-Tonga guy as well. Look at that for a leg drive from Junior Moores. Underneath the Huddersfield sticks here. McShane pointing the direction to the right-hand side. Then he goes left. There you go. He finds Grant Millington, and it was a dipping pass to Roberts, and that's a little knock-on.
Well, Grant Millington normally delivers those sorts of passes, and you picked it up, Eddie. He's faking to go the right-hand side, then all of a sudden there's some movement over on the left. That's the most dangerous side. They love going to the left, out the back, hitting some decent runners with depth, who are in good attacking shape as well, which pulls the defenders out. And you look at this, Junior Moores. I said before that, like for Adam O'Brien to score the try, knocking that man backwards, that's how strong he is. So that shows what a decent job that Huddersfield did, and Adam O'Brien in particular, which scored in his first try.
Well, Junior Moore's last 6 matches off the bench for him. Joe Wardle was injured at the very last minute yesterday. So he comes into the starting lineup. That's great defence here against Jordan Turner. Look at that push from McShane and Massey.
Paul McShane, that's his tackle technique. He gets underneath the ball and drives those attackers back.
Adam O'Brien was the dummy half. Matangi gets the ball away, but they've lost it. Huddersfield have lost it in the collision again.
Well, they need to play the percentages, don't they? See Akumatai straight at Michael Shenton. When he goes into contact, he looks to offload the ball, but look at this defence. They do like to attack the ball when they're close to the opposition's line. They hit under the ball, like Barry said. Paul McShane, that's one of his specialities. Always targeted, he's got to know how to defend, and Ryan Sheridan, Darryl Powell know that they're in a decent battle here.
He's always done that, Paul McShane, but he had a tendency to lift and try and drive the player into the ground. These days, he's keeping up and waiting for his teammates to help him.
Well, that vigorous defence has put Castleford in glorious shape here. The ball then bounced, and well, James Clare just could not pick it up on the half volley, so that is an opportunity that goes begging on the very first tackle.
Well, Huddersfield know that they can't be static, and they've got to get off the line. They've got to get in the faces of Cass when they shift that ball. Jake Webster, as soon as he catches that, he's under some pressure from the youngster in his senior. He makes the mistake. James Clare just can't quite get that ball in a good position.
So Huddersfield, they will get head and feet at the scrum. It's a real opportunity wasted, that by Castleford. And so they will come again. Once again within his senior, this time from deep inside his own half. Grounded in the tackle, O'Brien. And Akumatai takes it forward again. This time he hangs on to the ball quite safely, despite the attention of those three. Takes a bit to put him down. Down he goes. O'Brien. Here is Hinchcliffe. Flat pass from Danny Brough.
Still shifting the ball. I was expecting that set of 6, because they'd made a mistake the previous set, to be quite simple, just straight up the middle, but no. Even Matangi then turning around and trying to get the ball away to Adam O'Brien.
And there is O'Brien at dummy half. He gives it to Hinchcliffe. Short pass then to Michael Lawrence. And they reach tackle number 5, midway inside the Castleford Tigers half of the field. Brough then will put the kick in. It'll go high. And he'll look for a mistake from Matautia. But he's good under the high ball. He really is.
You'd imagine that if the ball goes to the left-hand side, young Innes Senior will be decent under the high ball. He's about 6'9".
Peter Matautia is 5th of 6 possible appearances since he signed from the Lee Centurions.
Well, that's a good take, but it doesn't matter how good you are under the high ball. If you allow the kickers of Gaskell and Brough enough time, they will make it absolutely impossible to catch those high kicks.
Jake Webster played the ball here to Greg Eden again. 3 tries in 27 for Huddersfield back in 2012 for Greg Eden. And he was a little bit of a nomad in many ways. He was looking for a home. Boy, as he found it at Castleford. Watts gets it away to Millington. Millington finds Ben Roberts, and Roberts hoists the kick left-footed. No problems at all for Jordan Rankin. Full back for the 7th game in a row for the Australian. And he's played in all but 1 this year. Jake Mamu now with the number 1 on his back.
Good work from Mamu. Changing direction at the line, changing lanes. Another good run from the outside back, Jordan Turner. Need a lot of movement off the ball here to just stand up those defenders. And the man's carrying the ball.
Seen plenty of it in his senior. With McGilvray and Donnell McIntosh out, it's a great chance for Innes Senior. He's only 18 years of age. Ryan Hinchcliffe now taking on McShane, getting past McShane, but he can't get past Shenton. Jordan Rankin at dummy half finds Danny Brough. It's the last one again, so this time a dink over the top from Danny Brough. And picked up by James Clare on his own line. Work to do here. Tangi coming in a bit high with Brough, but getting away with it. Play on, says the referee. Eden.
The second kick that Danny Bruff's gone centre field. Whether he thinks that there's a trying to target Metal too early on in the plays to take him out the set. I think if you go to the corner, you trap him in the corner, there's only one way to come. It makes it easy for the defensive line. If you centre field, he just opens it up.
Jake Truman again, he gets away from the attentions of Wardle, I think it was. Truman then gets to his feet eventually. Here's McMeekan, away from Michael Lawrence, his opposite number. And he finds Junior Moores again. And here is a penalty for a ball steal. 3 men in the tackle. And a quizzical look from Danny Bruff towards Ben Thaler, the referee. You can see there's hands all over the ball then from Akumatai, and he comes away with it.
Well, just holding on, as he knows what a threat that Junior Moores is when he's got the ball. Akumatai just trying to lock up that pass. He knows the player that he's playing against, make sure he can't offload it, but unfortunately he comes away from the tackle with it in his hand.
Well, they're taking a tap penalty, so Millington will run the ball at this Huddersfield defence. 16 minutes gone, 6-4 Huddersfield lead, courtesy of that try in the opening 2 minutes. Junior Moores again now, driving Castleford to within 9 metres of the Huddersfield line. Paul McShane waits again, comes to the right-hand side this time with Millington. Millington to Truman. Truman short ball. Opportunity for McMeekan, but it was well watched. Oh, he slips the pass. It's Jake Webster. Webster is held up. That's good Huddersfield defence.
Good work from young Jake Wardle to hold Webster up. And that's the danger of Mike McMeekan when he goes into contact. 3 players around me. You think, yeah, as a defensive line, yeah, my teammates have got him. All of a sudden, the ball comes free.
Liam Watts will take it forward, and he'll find Roberts. Roberts then finds Metalgia again. They go wide to Eden, and that's a good tackle. That's a great tackle from Jake Mamo. Holds him up and keeps him out. This now is Shenton. The big side, Huddersfield Giants. Giants by name, Giants by nature. Here goes McShane, short ball. Liam Watts. Watts trying to spin his way to the line. He's held up, though, by more good defence on their own line from the Giants.
That is good defence, and look at this from Mamo. That's brilliant. That hits Greg Eden. Greg Eden normally finish those sorts of players off. Say about the big players that they've got, Eddie. Obviously, you move those bigger forwards around. Gaps will start to appear as the game comes to a close in this first half.
To get away with that, Huddersfield. It was a loose ball. It went backwards, though.
All right, just loses it, doesn't it? Or they get a penalty, a much-needed penalty as well, you've got to say.
They have worked hard, Huddersfield, in defence, and they've earned the right by trying to play that ball as quickly as possible. They've earned that penalty from the referee. They look to have a different attitude. The Simon Wolford Huddersfield Giants is ready for the task of defending. Their attitude is good, and they look like they actually enjoy defending.
Well, here we are at Castleford tonight. The Castleford finished 2nd, 3rd or 4th in the top 4, and the same we're asking tomorrow night when Wigan take on Warrington, 2 others from the top 4. 2 semi-finalists tomorrow night, live here on Sky Sports Arena, 7:30. This is Bruff, meanwhile. Good ball, and through the net they go, and that is a tremendous try for Lee Gaskell. Set up by the lovely little pass from Danny Bruff, but is Ben Thaler looking for an obstruction in the build-up to this?
Just check, make sure there's no obstruction, please.
Yes, he is, but he has a try on the field. But he's asking Phil Bentham just to check that there is no obstruction in the build-up, Stuart.
Yeah, it sounds like the officials are wondering how he got through a gap so easily. So was there an obstruction there? Well, I think he just goes straight to the defender. I don't think he's in the defensive line. I think the defenders move forward to him there.
Well, always this year, Stuart, we've seen contact in the defensive line, and more often than not, the try is chalked off.
Well, it is, and you would say that he's in the defensive line there. Again, they seem to have taken the question as to whether the defender goes to the runner out of the equation, and Phil Bentham will be looking to see if he's in the defensive line. So there's definitely movement there for the defender. Doesn't give the runner the option of stopping short because he goes to him.
Well, they're playing on. They're playing on, and they're looking at the grounding. This is going to be given.
I don't see an obstruction in that. I agree with Phil Bentham on this one. The try should be confirmed.
Well, it's going to be, because they've looked at the grounding, and Lee Gaskell is going to get his 5th try of the season. Sure, this is going to get the green light. Stuart, just as we watch the decision, just explain the difference. We've seen that so often. Defenders hit attackers and runners, and more often than not, it's chalked off.
Yeah,
why wasn't that one?
The runner has the option of stopping short of the defensive line, and in my view, he did that on that occasion. It was the defender that went to him, which is why it's been allowed.
It's a strong carry from Matangi to play before that gives and enables Lee Gaskell to go up the line. I think when you look at the defender in Junior Moores, he goes at Ryan Hinchcliffe, he plants his feet, he then realises he's made a mistake and tries to work off. And Lee Gaskell, recognising what the good work that Ryan Hinchcliffe has done to attract Junior Moores, and the gap's there.
Brough adds the extras. That's 2 from 2 for him tonight, and Huddersfield lead by 12 points to 4. Lee Gaskell with the try.
And the benefit really of the run that Terry made, swaying Matangi, the number 35 for Huddersfield Giants, has probably had more impact as a mid-season recruit than any other player I can think for a couple of seasons. As a front rower, you probably don't notice it that often. He doesn't score many tries or set up many, but his runs, and look, he makes a dent in the opposition's defence, gets up and plays it before they're ready, and it has such a benefit there for Gaskell at the end of that run.
Interesting about Matangi, he was due to arrive for 2019, but he was allowed to leave early by Parramatta in the NRL, and he made a pretty spectacular debut in the win at St Helens. They won their 16 points to 12, Huddersfield. They'd lost at Saints 4 points to 66 in April. That was a turnaround.
His arrival has freed up Akumatai. You see him on a powerful charge. His tank isn't being drained by doing some of the hard work that's now being shared amongst the pack.
O'Brien again is the dummy half. They're just inside their own half of the field. Here comes the big fellow again.
Certainly seeing a lot of the ball, isn't he?
He is. He played for Samoa in the last 2 World Cups, and he had 1 appearance for New Zealand as well. Quality signing by Huddersfield. Rankin's kick is out on the full on the last tackle, so bringing it back to where the kick was taken, and it'll be the turnover.
Well, disappointed with that kick, Jordan Rankin. You could see that there was no pressure on him, really. The forwards have got him into that field position. A couple of decent play the balls as well, which enabled him then to kick the ball under no pressure. It just wasn't quite good enough from the full-back.
Massey carries it over the halfway line for the Castleford Tigers. 21 minutes gone. Huddersfield with an 8-point advantage, and full value actually for it. It's playing well.
It's quiet in the crowd as well. There's hardly a murmur coming out of the Speckies tonight. I think they're just waiting for the team and the night to ignite.
This now is Millington. Gets it away to Nathan Massey, who thought he was around Danny Brough, but Brough thought better of it. It's Roberts, gets it to Matautia. Matautia is picked up on the half volley by Greg Eden. He needs to get to ground quickly because he's on his way over the sideline. If not, he does get to ground quickly under Namo's challenge. Here is Roberts again. Now it's with Liam Watts. Liam Watts looking to get the arms free and get the offload away, can't do so, so goes down 10 metres away. McShane to the left-hand side again. Roberts stabs the kick to the in-goal area. Working defence by Rankin. It'll be a goal line dropout though for Huddersfield.
Second phase rugby is a big part of what Castleford do, but also the short kicking game. When you look at the likes of Ben Roberts and Jake Truman and Paul McShane, they've all got a decent kick within 10 metres of the line. They force those goal line dropouts, putting more pressure on Huddersfield, and Jordan Rankin continually carts the ball up for Huddersfield. They'll be under pressure in this game tonight.
Do you know, the Giants did a short dropper. I know it's not particularly in fashion and they needed the ball back last week, but with nothing to lose, you won't be surprised me here. At some stage in this game, he's going to try some trick shots, so you don't have to kick it long. Looks like Danny Brough's revving up here to kick it as far as he can, but there are lots of players here stacked up on to go for this.
Well, it is deep. It's fully into the Castleford half of the field, and Watts drives it back, but only as far as Michael Lawrence with the tackle.
Comes back at some speed, doesn't he? That's why he can offload the ball. He hits the defensive line, knocks him backwards. Same as this man, Massey.
Liam Watts was welcomed back home to Hull last week. This is Millington.
And that's the third member of that trio. They mix the game up really well between Mott, Watts, Millington and Massey, really asking questions.
Here's Truman now. Drops the pass off to McMeekan. McMeekan got a try against Hull last week. Millington drops the ball off to Massey. Massey will take it almost to the line. In fact, Huddersfield were thinking about carrying him over the line. This is the last one for Castleford. He'll play it eventually to McShane. Untidily it finds its way to McMeekan. McMeekan one-handed. Still going, McMeekan gets the pass away brilliantly to Webster. And the departing Jake Webster accepts the gift and goes over for the try. Well, he'll join the Bradford Bulls next year, Jake Webster, after giving sterling service to the Castleford Tigers. The 34-year-old has got them back to within 4 points.
Well, love it, absolutely love it, this try. All off the cuff, all reactionary. Paul McShane throws a loose pass on the floor. Look at the grip of Mike McMeekan here. He has that ball out, he's offering it to anybody that is available, and Jake Webster instantly recognises that, puts himself on a good line towards the try line. And what about this for skill? Lovely stuff.
How good is he, Mike McMeekan? I think he's a tremendous player since he signed from London. Look how strong he is. Look at him holding the ball. Gets rid of a couple of defenders, spins around, knows that there's going to be some backup on the inside, and that man's there, Jake Webster. A tremendous play from Mike McMeekan.
And he is their top offloader this year, Mike McMeekan, and he proved why then, because he held off the challenge with the left hand. The ball was free in the right, boom, straight into the arms of Webster, over for a fine try. Paul McShane then, to try and add the extras, get them back to within 2 points again. Makes no mistake, he's not the first choice goal kicker, as we say, but he is tonight. Paul McShane, and Castleford are 10, Huddersfield 12.
Well, you can see he sets off over to the sideline, and Jake Webster says, hey, that's all well and good, Mike. You can go that way, but you're going to have to come back in field at some point, and when you do, I need possession. It's the second time now that the Tigers have scored on the last tackle. They probably need to make some focus there and get even more concerned when the referee puts his hand in there and says, that's 5 and the 5th and last tackle. And they've decided to run the ball, not kick it. Every team conscious now of the Castleford Tigers. A third of their tries have got a kick in them so far this season, more than any other side, significantly more than any other side. It's made them one of the best teams to watch, but one of the hardest teams to defend against.
And you can trace that try all the way back to the poor kick put in by Jordan Rankin. Castleford marched the Giants up the other end of the field, put a pressure-building kick behind in the end goal, and then the masters of making that pressure pay.
So back to within just a couple of points. You've got the chance to avenge one of only 3 home defeats this year here tonight. They lost here to Huddersfield 18-32 in July. It was the 3rd win for Huddersfield of a 6-game streak that transformed their season. It also guaranteed Huddersfield a place inside the top 8 rather than a battle in the qualifiers, and therefore security from 2019. And Shenton has put another ball down.
Well, just sitting back then. You don't sit back and wait for the likes of Junior Morse to run it. He had about 10 or 15 metres to run at that defensive line. You could see that there was some space. Danny Brough, well, he wedged in. And then the space out wide, Michael Shenton just can't quite take that ball in. So they are so dangerous, aren't they, over on that left-hand side. Every time they move it, it's red alert for the team that plays against them.
Well, we're here tonight in the Super 8s. Over the weekend, we will have a look at the qualifiers. Widnes against Halifax. Well, either of those two sides need the win because they haven't won anything yet in the qualifiers. Widnes and Halifax look like missing out this year. Saturday at 3 in Sky Sports Arena, and then we're in Canada again for Canada against France, or Toronto against Toulouse. 5:15, Sky Sports Arena again. 2 matches from the qualifiers rather. Big game that for both Toronto and Toulouse. Would be a giant step or stride towards Super League next year for either of those 2 clubs.
Yeah, everyone will be looking forward to seeing how they both play against each other. It is a pressure game, Eddie.
In the qualifiers this year, they're all pressure games. This is Daniel Smith. But it looks like Widnes and Halifax will be 2 of the sides to miss out. even though they're meeting on Saturday. But one of them will not end the qualifiers on 0 points after that. It might be a draw, they both might.
Well, Paul McShane then spots some space off the back of a mistake. It's the free play. As soon as he picks that ball up, he is an attacking player. And tremendous job here, coached by Darryl Powell, and you see the big fella.
The setup was very similar to the try that they'd scored. Lee Gaskell came out the back, came on a nice run, and they tried it on the second occasion. Akumatai, look at Danny Bruffy, he pumps that ball, steps back, rocks back on the inside, finds Rankin, who gives a short pass to Akumatai, who just can't keep hold of the ball.
So Castleford's head and feed, trailing by 2 points. Huddersfield have been ahead from the second minute of the match. Now we're at 27.5.
We talked about Matangi, but what about Grant Millington just leaving the field now? With most carries and meters for Cass, and you can see why. Here he is. That's the man to stop in this game.
Here's McMeekan. Castleford have been priding themselves on their defence in these Super 8s in the back end of the regular season. Here they come on attack now with Shenton, not tackled, now he is. Jordan Rankin seeing to it he wasn't going any further, and then just waiting too long. Paul Clough, I beg your pardon, and then getting pinged by the referee, Ben Thaler.
Well, when they go lateral, they do change direction as well, so they are difficult to defend against, and try to slow them down when they are playing like they are. Obviously, you've got to make sure you come up with the right tackle, you slow them down, you work with the referee, and not give those penalties away.
Mitch Clark on the ball. He's been pretty good since he's been coming off the bench this year. Here now, Liam Watts. There's a big collision there. Matty English, the 20-year-old. Truman. That was played at by Huddersfield. This will be 6 to go. Senior got to it, but it's a knock-on by Huddersfield, so head and feed again to Castleford.
Again, there's a lot of movement, players in motion. Forecast, when you make that decision and you decide to come in, I think see Wardle did then. He knows that he puts pressure on his outside man.
Probably a good job he got a fingertip to that, because Webster was steaming up for a second try.
Well, it was always hard to know,
always hard to know whether he did go for the ball or whether he was making a tackle. We're asking the referee, aren't we, to guess what he's doing with his arms at full speed.
Doesn't matter, Stuart, does it? You hit it and you knock it forward, it's a knock-on.
Well, the referee will see that if the ball's been passed, it's been released by the ball carrier. If it then hits the defender coming in, he'll rule that he's played at the ball rather than the tackle.
McShane from the base of the scrum. This is Roberts. Takes the return pass again. Short ball then to Shenton. He's gobbled up by Jordan Turner. Roberts once again. And Moores trying to outmuscle them in defence. Gets away from English first of all. English comes back once again, helped out by Bruff. Moores will play it here to McShane. McShane, I was about to say, will go to the left-hand side, but Huddersfield caught offside underneath their own posts. Now not standing square or not standing on the line, and Castleford, they could kick for goal here and level things up, but I don't think they're interested in that. They feel there's 6 points on offer with Mitch Clark. Clark goes down on the first. McShane with a standing square and where the onside at that play the ball, Huddersfield. Anyway, not to worry. Here is McMeekan again. Once more, the ball is in the right hand. Couldn't get it away this time, though. Huddersfield seeing to it that that ball was clamped to him. James Clare, Truman, Watts, short ball on an angle run. Adam Milner off the bench. 6 metres away. McShane, pressure here on the Huddersfield line. Truman to McMeekan. Good tackle by Wardle.
Big defensive set here for Huddersfield.
Milner. And he finds Roberts. Left they go again with Matautia. Drops the pass off to Shenton. Another good tackle from the Huddersfield defenders. Last one coming up here for Castleford. Huddersfield hold on, it'll be a real tick in the box. Hold on they do. But it's a goal line dropout.
Well, more pressure again for Cass. And then looking just to put a bit more doubt in this Huddersfield line, taking an awful lot of energy out of them. Again, the kick within 10 metres from Ben Roberts. The right kick that's needed. Amo makes a play for it. You can see just touches the ball. That's the correct call, I think, from the referee.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it was played by Mamo as it goes through here, I think. Just there off his arm. So he's played it last before he goes. And it just makes it dead because the ball is still live until he hits the ground.
Goal line dropout then for Huddersfield to defend once again. It's the second one that Castleford have forced. Jake Mamo played for New South Wales under-20s in 2014. Back from 5 out last week, and he grabbed a hat-trick against Warrington. What a return that was. Eden's underneath the goal line dropout. Here comes Mitch Clark. He tucks the ball under his wing and runs very strongly at this defence. English getting him down. McShane and Liam Watts now will take it forward.
Plays big minutes, doesn't he, Liam Watts? Then you can see looking to win the play, looking to offload.
Milner. Solid run again from Milner. Oh, gets the ball away nicely too to Watts once more. Here comes Roberts. Changes the direction. Eventually they get him down, Paul Clough and Matty English. Liam Watts will drive to the line, and, well, Huddersfield do well. They hold him up. We'll go back to the 10-metre line. The tackle count will continue. That was tackle 4, so this will be the last one from 10 out.
Well, it seems like they've been under pressure for 5 minutes, but you've got to credit Simon Wolford's side. They've been heroic in defence.
Slides the kick in, goal line dropout coming up again because Rankin grounding the ball in his own in-goal area. This is the second in quick succession.
They're looking around thinking, come on lads, let's get a bit more on that kick, give us a bit of a chance. But defensively turning up for each other when the ball goes away from them. They're not presenting Castleford any gaps, and like Phil was saying before about maybe going for a short kick-off or just be behind the 10-metre line. There's a huge gap of around 45 metres where there's not many players. Yeah, they can come over for it, but maybe mix it up a bit here.
Well, they've had to defend 12 tackles in a row. Here comes up to 18. The NRL finals got off to a blistering start last week, and they continue tomorrow at 10. Cronulla against Penrith, Sky Sports Arena. And on Saturday, same time, same channel, South Sydney and St George Illawarra. Penalty here to Castleford again.
You have to admire what Castleford do. They've got some flashy players, but they've also got some toilers, some hard workers. You saw a really committed carry from Mitch Clark, backed up by Adam Milner. Everybody knows their role. Everybody understands what they need to do to get the result at the end of the game.
10 metres out, McShane finds Roberts. Here comes Junior Moores on the charge. He'll take some stopping, and I don't think they stop him. I heard Ben Thaler say yes, did I? Well, Mamo is going up the other end of the field. He hasn't blown his whistle. He has now. But Mamo is going all the way.
What a run from Mamo.
You mentioned his hat-trick last week. He scored a number from long range.
Well, Mamo has gone from one end of the field to the other.
Hey, if he edits that on his highlights reel, he'll get another contract somewhere, Eddie. He looked fantastic.
He did. He's given a try on the field, though, as Ben Thaler. I heard him say yes when the ball hit the ground. The indication is that Moores has scored. But he's a bit late on the whistle.
Well, he was, because I think the ball ended up being run away. But I think he realised as it was being taken away that it would be a penalty anyway for a ball steal.
He's lost it.
I think it's stolen.
Yeah, stolen by
that's what it is. I think that's
it a
what
one-on-one?
Well,
No,
it's two there. It's two there, and it's in the act of scoring. It won't be a penalty try. He doesn't get the ball on the ground. I think that ball's stolen, so we should end up with a penalty to Castleford, 10 metres out, but it's certainly no try.
Well, they don't score the try, but again, it's going to be more pressure, isn't it, for Huddersfield? They'll be quite happy with this breaking play, just to get some oxygen back into the lungs and just...
Well, Rankin came away with it, so it's definitely no try. And poor old Jake Mamo, all that effort, all that speed down the line for no try. It's no try at one end, it was no try at the other.
But it's helped out his team, hasn't it? It's made the game a bit slower and just helped them all out now. I think they need some energy, they need to get away from the try line, complete some sets and get back into the game.
What's amazing, Terry, when you look here, the score the way it is, Huddersfield have had 2 play the balls inside Castleford's 20-metre zone, near the Tigers' line. The Tigers have had 25 in comparison. 12 times as much, even more by the time here now. This is going to be a 26.
Yes, there's the 26 from number 23, Mitch Clark. McShane. Here he comes again on the run. This time he gets it down. He gets it down cleanly. The try is given to Junior Moores. If at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. And he tried again, and guess what? He got the try.
Well, sooner or later, he's going to just kick that door in, isn't he? Come up with 62 tackle busts this year, the big man, Junior Moores. You can see how good he is at speed, at the line. Whether he uses his footwork or he looks and goes into contact, turns around, looks to offload the ball. On that occasion, though, he thought, no, I'm going to take the direct route. I'm going to pick out a defender and we're going to go straight at him. You can see here, Jordan Rankin strips the ball from Junior Moores. And like you said, Eddie, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Look at the line. He stayed true to that line as well. I think he picks out the same player in Jordan Rankin. Yeah, you might have stopped me the first time, but you're not going to stop me the second.
It was a really patient build-up from Castleford Tigers. Off the back of some repeat sets, as we've seen, Junior Moores denied the first time, got over the second time, was able to plonk the ball down. Patient, composed. When the opportunity arises, they've got to take it.
3 tries in 4 now for Junior Moores, and McShane has added the extras. Castleford ahead for the first time, 5 minutes before half-time.
And I guess they would feel, though, they probably need to be ahead by more as he crashes over for this try. They've had almost twice as much possession now. A game of rugby league, you very rarely see that. Generally, you get a 50-50 split of the ball by the time you get to the end of the match. So Huddersfield have got to believe that their time will come with the ball and their time will come to attack. But so far, it's the Tigers with that 4-point advantage. You'd expect it to be a bit more.
The discipline's been quite good. And then in the last 6 or 8 minutes, we've given 4 penalties away in that ruck area. Just get into your lads. Right, we need to get back to where we were the first 8 of the game.
Well, the former captain of Huddersfield has been told, Danny Brough, that he has to tell his players, his fellow players, to tidy up the ruck because they've given 4 penalties away in the last 6 or 8 minutes in that area.
Discipline, boys, come on, think about what we're doing.
And Ben Thaler shouting at the Huddersfield players to think about their discipline. 16-12, Castleford lead just before half-time. Eden underneath the kick-off. Try scorer runs it back. Latest try scorer, Junior Moores, halted by English and Daniel Smith. Always exciting when Mitch Clark's got the ball lately. He's been impressive in the last 10 games he's played as a substitute.
Same with this one as well. I think when you look at Cass and the makeup of the Cass side, every forward's got a pass in the game, so it makes them a dangerous proposition every time you're defending against them.
Roberts, this time with a kick down the left-hand side. Takes a nice little jump off the field as well. No chance for Mamo to pick it up.
Eager for work as well. Everyone knows what the job description is in the game. The forwards carry the ball hard. They're looking for that second phase. The players the likes of Truman and Roberts and Paul McShane know that when they get into decent field position, they're the team, they're the players that have got to come up with the magical plays. They don't overplay. I think last week when they played against Hull FC, even though they were winning at 1 point, 28 points to 0, they seem to overplay and they've stripped it, seem to have stripped it back. Forwards are running really hard. They're playing off the back of that, which is making it really difficult for this Huddersfield side.
These 2 of the 7 clubs to have won the league leaders' shield in Super League. Castleford, as I said earlier, 2017, of course, Huddersfield 2013. Both share with Warrington the unwanted distinction of failing to go on and earn the title in a grand final at Old Trafford. Castleford won't finish as league leaders this year, but will they get to the big night? Other people in this part of the world seem to think they will. Very confident. Good movement here, though, from Huddersfield. Mamo standing centre field, but on the last tackle, plays the ball to Wardle, and Brough with the kick outside of the left boot just finds touch.
and that's in recognition of how much work they've done. Defensively, they've been made to work overtime with that patient approach from Castleford Tigers. But Cass, off the back of points, their defensive effort, I'm pretty sure the only metres that Huddersfield made, or the metres that they made, were just short of 40 metres. So finding that territory hard to come by. But Cass look in control, look like they're steady, assured, and know what they're doing.
Well, the one thing we can say is that either Saints, Wigan, Castleford or Warrington will be at Old Trafford this year. That's about all we can tell you, but the Rugby Football League have their information lines open for business during normal office hours, and there's the website as well. The grand final, October the 13th, 4 weeks on Saturday. Last 3 weeks of the Super 8s, then the semi-final, then the big night. Who will be there? Which of those four? Castleford looking to, as they all are to be fair, all the top four looking to get the form in absolutely the right groove. It's good work in defence from Turner. And Castleford caught offside chasing that kick.
Well, they'd be quite happy and relieved with this penalty from the referee, Ben Taylor. See Michael Shenton just a step in front when he kicks that ball.
Halfway, bud.
Just about to say that they needed that penalty as well, didn't they? Get to half-time, not concede another try, although they're looking to shift it here.
They are, and he was nearly through then. It was Ollie Roberts. English, 20-year-old. He's played in 13 games this season. They really have some good youngsters at Huddersfield. Leeming is another one of them.
Just coming back from a broken hand, Matty English, straight in, tough as old boots.
Clough. He's Leeming again. This is Danny Brough. They're 10 metres away. Good movement here. Gaskell stabbing it forward. Truman. It bounced off him and it's play on. And Truman, well,
he doesn't want to score. He's got a question mark himself. Even he thinks it's a knock-on.
The ref called play on.
He did, and he called played on. But I tell you what, Jake Truman had old head on young shoulders there, because if he'd have gone up the other end of the field and scored,
I agree. I often think that.
Had a look at the video referee, it might have been chalked off.
I often think that when there's a doubt in it, and you see players all the time, they put the ball over the try line, and then the question is going to be asked.
Is that a flaw with the video ref then, that you can do that?
This is Eden. Eden has stabbed it through. Truman's after it again this time. There's a knock-on. But Mamo comes to the rescue of his own mistake. And that will be enough in this first half. Well, Huddersfield gave Castleford a real fright. They led after... Huddersfield gave Castleford a real fright. They led after 2 minutes with O'Brien's try. Brough improved that. It was 6-0. Eden got one back for Castleford in the 5th minute, 6-4. Then Gaskell and Brough again made it 12-4 after 20 minutes. But Webster's try and Moore's try has given Castleford the lead for the first time. And they held on to it up to half-time. It's Castleford 16, it's Huddersfield 12, but it's an entertaining game.
This season, red is in. New look, Coke Zero Sugar.
Mayday, Mayday. This is Eagle One, we have a problem.
Don't panic. Oh, have a look at that. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £5 on any market on the Spurs v Liverpool game. Yes, let's have a piece of the action.
We're breaking up!
I tell you what, I rate our chances. We can get a £10 free bet.
Oh,
For the love of the game, Betway.
Hey, Lucy.
It's my dad.
Hi.
I'm Tom.
Kayak's price forecast helps me decide if I should wait for a better price or book my flights now. For travel, I trust Kayak. For everything else, I trust myself.
I remember having frequent heartburn. I was always reaching for short-term relief, over and over. But when my heartburn kept waking me up, I took control.
Nexium Control. Just one pill a day could give you 24-hour protection and zero heartburn. Now available in a mini capsule.
Now I'm protected. What a difference.
Hello, Ghostbusters.
It's Greg from the Halifax. I've got your new Visa debit card.
We got one!
There you go, guys. They're contactless. It's the quickest way to buy things up to 30 quid. Easy peasy. Oh, while you're here, they could do with some help upstairs. Oh, there he is. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Are you okay?
He slimed me.
Actual physical contact.
I prefer contactless. Now go bust that ghost.
I'm afraid of no ghost.
Joshua returns to defend his World Heavyweight titles at Wembley Stadium.
What a fight!
Live on Sky Sports Box Office.
The atmosphere is electric tonight in what promises to be a dramatic dogfight.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
Top of the table, Liverpool in action on Saturday against Spurs, 11:30 on Sky Sports Premier League, and then doubleheader on Super Sunday. Second from bottom, Burnley, they'll hope to kickstart their season against Wolves, 12:30 p.m. It is followed by unbeaten Everton against bottom of the table, West Ham. And Monday night football comes from the south coast, Southampton taking on neighbours Brighton, 7 p.m. start, Sky Sports Premier League. All right, we're at the Mendehoes Jungle. Is round 5 of the Betfred Super League Super 8s, and the home side have a 4-point lead. They did trail at one stage in that first half, 12-4 against the Huddersfield Giants side, who opened up the scoring. 2 tries for Huddersfield, 3 for the Castleford Tigers, and that one from Junior Moores at the end is what separates them at the moment. You would think there would be more between them when you have a look at the stats, though. 61% possession for the home side, higher completion rate, and a massive amount of meters compared to the Huddersfield Giants. 8-4-3 against 4-4-3. Handling errors 5-4 split on that. Carries and meters for Huddersfield way down, and you would say they're in a very good position to be only 4 points behind at half time. Right, there's been plenty of off-field talk around the world of Rugby League and around Super League this week, and more of that will come with that big EGM tomorrow. But John Wells, I'll tell you what, the on-field product delivered there, because that was, to me, a very entertaining first 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was, and I think the Huddersfield Giants, despite the limited time that they had in the opposition half, something backed up by the stats there and referenced by Phil Clark, led to O'Brien scoring
Happy with that try?
as the second minute. It's the vagaries of the system, isn't it? Referee goes up with try, you need to find sufficient evidence to overturn it. Eden on 5 minutes, and then the try of the half for me, Lee Gaskell, beautiful set-up play, and we're going to have a closer look at this try in our analysis piece in a couple of minutes. Lovely finish by Gaskell under the sticks, and that was the 12-4 you were talking about.
Yeah, Huddersfield, of course, Castleford Tigers, as you said, plenty of time, plenty of possession up near the Huddersfield Giants line, and ultimately got over a couple of times that. Jake Webster's try in the 26th minute.
And then came all the pressure, which culminated in this try from Junior Moores. I'll tell you one thing, Junior Moores doesn't score that try, this is a very, very different game for the Tigers, and a very, very different half-time team talk.
Some suggestions pre-game from Simon Wolford that he would find it a little difficult to raise his side. They had that great spell, winning 11 of 12, getting to within a whisper of making the top 4. Of course, that's now beyond them. They have found motivation from somewhere. Have they, or are we looking at a somewhat lethargic Castleford Tigers side?
I think there's probably a little bit of both in there. I think that, Castleford Tigers are now having to look more than just today's game. They've now got to start that preparation and that momentum. But as Barry McDermott said, it's about that momentum and confidence they've got to build. I'll tell you what about Huddersfield. They have got nothing to lose, but the scoreline and the statistics and what we've seen on there all go to show me they are the more clinical of the two sides with very, very limited opportunity. I think they've exploited weaknesses in the Castleford defence.
Let's look at what you've called, John, the try of the half. To break it down for us.
So, in the absence, Jermaine McGilvray doesn't play today, Leroy Cudjoe doesn't play today, two guys who generate an awful lot of momentum from the backfield. I think Matagi, Kumatai, Lawrence, Hinchcliffe have stepped up massively in that front in the pack, and look at what they do in terms of putting Huddersfield on the front foot. And this has a knock-on effect then, the ease with which you can pick your lines and pick your passes. When you get to play the ball like that and you get the ball back into motion here, you've got guys literally just getting back, turning and assessing the defensive line. This is currently 7-on-5, so they have an overlap. When the ball is passed, it becomes 6-on-4. Now, we've talked in the week about how well Jake Truman was doing, for example, at the Castleford Tigers this year. You've spoken this evening about players that aren't playing, Luke Gale being one of them. Let's focus on a player who is. Danny Brough is 35 years of age. He has played his 70th first grade appearance this evening.
Yep.
And he's used all his experience here. The big thing...
Video referee had a close look at this, John. Talk to us about this obstruction as well, or potential obstruction.
Yeah, the potential obstruction, which I don't think comes from Hinchcliffe here. And it's a combination, I think, of it's half Junior Moores not getting off the defender and moving across because of the convincing nature of that line, and maybe a little bit of contact. I think on balance that's okay. It's the line running that's good. Two line runs here that are very, very good. So your first one is Hinchcliffe. That holds Junior Moores. Your second line from Akumatai holds Ben Roberts on his left foot, and that's significant. But let's come back to this man, Danny Brough. He uses all that experience. Look at where he plays this ball. He goes right into the teeth of this defensive line. And at that point, Junior Moores simply has to account for that line from Hinchcliffe. Have a look at this. Is the other significant bit. Ben Roberts, the weight there is on his left foot, and that's all down to the lateness of the play and this line.
And it's a good point you make on Junior Moores. If you have a look at him, he's braced himself, he's dropped his arms, he's braced himself to make contact. He hasn't then given himself to put his chance to put his hands up, push off the defender and move along. So he's fully committed because of Brough taking the ball right to the line.
That's it, and that's, I suppose, that the advanced skill there is to use the defender to push off and help your player on the outside. But again, we come back to this man, because he's prepared to play so late and so close to the line, and prepared to wear a shot, I would imagine, as well for his troubles. The rest of this falls into play like dominoes, because Gaskell's well hidden there. Have a look at where he goes. He goes between those two players. One held up, one on his left foot, and then that's why the tackle is not as effective as it should be, and Gaskell under the sticks. They may be behind on the scoreboard, but they're proving very clinical in attack.
Yeah, that gave them an 8-point lead, which the Castleford Tigers have pared back there now in front at half-time. Let's take you to the dressing rooms here at the Mendahoes Jungle. Darryl Powell delivering the final few messages to his side that are preparing for semi-final rugby league next month. He will want a better second half in this game. There is no doubt about that. Simon Wolford, they found a reason to win and a reason to perform. He said he does not want them to undo the good work of recent weeks. Well, they are certainly answering his battle cry. Okay, we got 40 minutes on the way. It's 4-point deficit for the Huddersfield Giants here at the Mendahoes Jungle. We will have the second half of this round fixture for the Betfred Super League Super 8s just after this break.
Chase on him, Luke Gale with a drop goal! He has kicked it!
Dine for $9.99 from Domino's. Any size pizza for only $9.99 each when you buy 2 or more. Domino's, the official food of everything.
Do you realise the tragedy you have unleashed?
What have I done?
We need to end this.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, out tomorrow.
Play it on Xbox One.
At B&Q, we're dropping prices throughout the year. With new lower prices, you can do it when you're being cute.
Hey, Lucy.
It's my dad.
Hi, I'm Tom. It was very unusual. They could have taken anything. But they only took the Jamison. Nothing else. Why? Taste. That's why.
Some exchange betting companies run short-lived promotions, like months-long offers of low commission. At BetDAC, we wanted to change the way we did things, so we set our commission at 2% permanently. That's 2% on football, horse racing, golf, almost any sport. 2%. That's just one way that BetDAC is changing for the better. For the better. Like you. BetDAC, the 2% commission exchange.
American Ninja Warrior is launching in the UK, and we thought we'd give you a crash course in some of the phrases used, such as...
This crowd is jacked up. Look at this.
The spectators are very excited to be here.
Whatever works for you, but wrap that sucker like a burrito.
Make sure you have a very firm grip on the obstacle. Find out what they're on about with the launch of American Ninja Warrior, Sunday at 11 on Challenge.
It's time for an old rivalry to be renewed.
It's a Midlands derby with a real edge to it. Massive stakes here in the West Midlands. Oh, he scored! Wouldn't you just know it? Brilliant finish!
Birmingham v West Brom kicks off another great weekend of championship action live on Sky Sports Football.
Them perhaps weave a little bit of magic. The Formula One circus rolls into Singapore this weekend, and tomorrow it's the first round of practice at 9:15 on Sky Sports F1. Saturday, the qualifying at 1 o'clock, and then on Sunday, the race itself from 11:30. All of that available on Sky Sports F1 channel. Here tonight, we're in the Betfred Super League Super 8s, and the Castleford Tigers, who are semi-finalists guaranteed, are 16-12 up against the Huddersfield Giants. Half-time. Second half about to get underway. Now Powell making his way across the field to his vantage position on this side. And Huddersfield will line up against his team, knowing that this was the scene of their first ever away win in Super League. It came here in 1998, and incredibly it was one of only 2 victories for the Giants that year. Darrell's having to make a quick exit from the field because Ben Thaler is just about ready to get this second half underway. Tigers leading at half-time, 16-12. And it's Huddersfield who will go from left to right now in this second half. Danny Brough is about to get the next 40 minutes ticking away. Here we go. Not much to choose between the two sides on the scoreboard in that first half. Greg Eden, one of the try scorers in the first 40, takes the first tackle of the second half.
Well, they're certainly in a game, aren't they? Look at the try-line defence from Huddersfield in that first 40. They were outstanding the way that they worked hard for each other. And Cass trying ever so hard to break them down. The offloading game, I'm sure that Simon Wolford would have talked about that. Closing and stopping that second phase rugby.
Mitch Clark again will carry the ball forward enthusiastically for the Castleford Tigers. English was in there, Clough was as well. There was a bit of help from Daniel Smith. Now it's Adam Milner. That's a good tackle again from Matty English. Puts him on his back. They've reached tackle number 5, midway inside the Huddersfield half. Truman with a kick. Delicately into the air. Oh, and that's knocked on, I think. Not forward. It was by Huddersfield.
He's under some pressure, wasn't he, Senior, then, when that ball goes up? Look at this. He thinks he's got it. He's got his arms up. The targets are there. He's looking between the hands, trying to catch the ball cleanly.
And James Clare did well to just hang off the challenge. So young Innes Senior comes up with the error, and so Castleford will have head and feet at this scrum. It's a great chance for them now to build on the lead that they established just before the half-time break. Castleford won all 11 weekly round games at home last year. They lost 2 in these Super 8s. Here is Liam Watts. They're looking not to lose this one here tonight. Watts on tackle number 1, just a metre shy of the line. That's McShane. McShane then to Truman. Short ball from him. McMeekan. This time he can't get through, and he can't get the arms free as well. He's picked up and dumped to the ground. McShane is waiting again. Milner is the runner on his shoulder. Now it's with Clark again. He tries to spin away. He's lost the ball. English has it back. Huddersfield have it back. And Michael Lawrence will go down on zero tackle. Right, let's get the half-time news, shall we? We go to the sideline, and Bill Arthur's waiting for us.
Eddie Darrell Powell will be disappointed with that, because that bore out what he was saying to me just as they came out at the start of the second half, that they've got themselves into some great attacking positions in that first half. Delighted with the way they've gone about that, but then just 1 or 2 snatching at chances and not making the most of the opportunities, and that's what he wants to see improved in the second half for the Castleford Tigers. Otherwise, he was pretty pleased with what he'd seen from them. Other aspects of the first 40 minutes, delighted, and good to see them in this position, but not good to see them conceding the penalty there. Simon Wolford and the Huddersfield Giants likewise pretty pleased, although just a bit worried that they've had to do so much defending. Impressed with the defending they've done, but they've just had to do too much of it. I'd like to see them up at the other end of the field. How they get up there is another question, but they've got up there now on the back of that penalty.
Yes, they have. And Oliver Roberts takes the first tackle from Meakin and Webster. This is Smith. Just 15, 16 metres maybe away from the Castleford line, looking to score first in the second half, as they scored first in the match. Paul Clough driving it in. Halted, 9 metres shy. Cruz Leeming will go down centre field with Matty English. And English trying to get those arms free and trying to get to the line, and Castleford doing well to hold him up. Cruz Leeming again. Fires it to Brough. Brough then gives it a bit of air, and he finds Jordan Turner. And Turner is backing his way to the line. He gets over the line. He's held up by, though, the defenders from the Castleford Tigers, and they'll take it back to the 10-metre mark and come again. This is the last tackle for Huddersfield Giants this set. Gaskell to Leeming, and English.
Last tackle.
Oh, they keep it alive. And this is Cruz Leeming. Oh, and he's wiped the tackle count clean. This is Daniel Smith. And Smith has heard the shout from the referee, so hangs on. So, a great chance now for Huddersfield. Leeming tried to fool the defence, shaped to go left, then straightened up. Castleford being tested early in this second half with Brough. Brough then to Gaskell. Gaskell, good defence from Castleford now on their own line. Lawrence. Here's Brough again in centre field. Showed it to English, gave it to Leeming. Leeming goes wide. And that's good work. Again in defence on that far side. Innes Senior. Nowhere to go. James Clare up to the mark in defence for Castleford.
James Clare does some really effective things, but really unselfish things for his team. You see how he holds his position. He can't afford to go in on the centre. I think it's Jake Mamo on that occasion. He can't afford to go into him. He has to buy a bit of time. Just allows himself enough space to make that tackle to Innes Senior. Not enough questions asked in those 2 sets of 6 that Huddersfield Giants had. Seemed a strange decision to give it Matty English on the last tackle. He found an offload, there was a ricochet, and they got a second look at the line, and they didn't manage to convert that into points.
Let's go back down pitch side. Bill.
Eddie, one bit of injury news for the Huddersfield Giants, and Jake Wardle has come off during half-time for a head injury assessment, or rather it was decided during half-time when they reviewed an incident in the first half that he should be assessed. So that's the case at the moment. He's off the field, but they are confident he'll be able to come back on.
Thanks, Bill. 6 minutes of this second half gone, and Matautia offloads to McShane, and just a little fumble by Junior Moores. Huddersfield have it back. This is Jake Marmo. This will be the zero tackle.
They're doing a good job hitting and sticking in this second half. Huddersfield see Smith with a strong carry, going at McShane, going at Milner. A mistake from Junior Moores.
Just saw Jordan Turner out the corner of his eye, maybe. Here is Brough, short pass to English. English takes tackle number 2. They are 15 metres away from the Castleford line. It's all Huddersfield early.
Well, pointing from Danny Brough as they're going to be coming to the right-hand side here. He's orchestrating.
Leeming, looking for Brough, finding him. Comes wide and finds Turner. He goes inside Ben Roberts. Shenton good on defence, brings him down. 4 gone. It's Brough again. Fires the pass into midfield and finds Leeming. Short ball then from him to English, and Matty English has lost the ball.
Well, he can't pick it up, the youngster. The ball was out the back. Matty English. He's a tremendous player, good prospect. Very tough as well. Always offers himself, but you could see the ball out the back. Cruz Leeming hits the man out the back. Lee Gaskell. Well, you see Truman. He bit in, he wedged in on that man because of the committed run that he come up with. But there was certainly some space and a chance blown there, I think, Eddie.
Tight game tonight, 16-12. Over the years, games between these two seem always to produce the points and the tries. In the last 10 years, there have been 50 points or more scored in this fixture in 16 out of 24 occasions.
Eddie, I want to see the team in third play like they're in third and play like the positive team that they are. As we see the ball get shifted, they need a spark, they need some energy, and Jesse Seni-Lefeo is about to get on the field for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's sat patiently, hasn't he, for almost 48 minutes. He might be the player to provide some more points for them, but I don't think scoring points is Castleford's biggest problem between now and the grand final. It's been a good enough defensive team to pick up that big prize at Old Trafford on the 13th of October.
Here goes McShane again. Gets it away to Liam Watts. Always makes ground with the ball in hand, does Watts. He does again here to the 20-metre mark. McShane and Jesse Seni-Lefeo is on the field, back from 3 out. A match-winning try at Huddersfield last year, 26-21. A dab to the in-goal area. That's good play by Rankin. And that's going to be a penalty because the tackle was completed by McMeekin. He's telling Jake Webster that. There was no need for Webster to flop on the grounded player here.
Yeah, I agree. That was brave, wasn't it, from Jordan Rankin. It was a good kick behind the defensive line. Just a little pull, a little drag was enough for the referee, Ben Fowler, to give that a penalty away. And Cass, when you look at them, when they play off a good go forward, the forwards lay the platform, they hit the ball on the advantage line, they get the team going forward, and then they're very difficult to control.
Well, it's a clearing penalty for Huddersfield. They were camped on their own line. Now they're midway inside their own half. 20 cheap metres or so for them. Tell you what, Adam Milner always battles against his weight, doesn't he?
Well, he does. I think he has the attitude that I'm going to run at you harder than you're going to run at me. Speaking of running hard, there's Matangi.
He's back out there. Plays the ball to Leeming. He comes in centre field and finds Daniel Smith. Leeming again. Smith was looking for a penalty. The referee just said, play on. Clough did that, gets to the 40-metre mark. Liam Watts halting Cruz Leeming with help from Milner and Jesse Seni-Lefeo. Smith finds Brough. Brough stabs the ball in behind the defender. Oh, that ball is knocked down by Huddersfield's Jake Marmo. It's going to be a scrum down, head and feet to the Tigers.
Well, when Huddersfield were going in to effect the tackle, the ball come off the hand of one of the Huddersfield players. Well, Ben Roberts to Matautia, but it's the effort here.
Just look at the Huddersfield
it's the effort
shirts
here on Matautia, that played by Marmot. But good chase. Unfortunately, don't come up with the ball.
And their effort and their willingness to work for one another. Eddie, you mentioned Michael Lawrence, 250th game. It was nice to see former Huddersfield player Darren Fleary, who's in the coach's box this evening. He presented the front rower with that commemorative shirt. I'm sure the Huddersfield Giants players will all want to bring that victory home, but they've got a bit of work to do.
Well, we're seeing third place Castleford in action tonight. Tomorrow we see second place Wigan entertaining fourth place Warrington. It could be a dress rehearsal for a semi-final. It could be a dress rehearsal even for a grand final. That Wigan-Warrington tomorrow. 7:30 Sky Sports Arena here. We're 51 minutes or thereabouts into this match between Castleford and Huddersfield, and it's as you were at half-time. And Senny Lefeo taking it forward for the Tigers. And that will be tackle number 5, signalled by referee Ben Thaler. And so what does Castleford have? It's a little dink over the top by Jake Truman. Ooh, it's a nasty bounce. It's bounced perfectly in the end for Castleford. Good job that there were numbers aplenty there for Huddersfield, but right on their own line it will be the turnover.
It took a wicked bounce in front of the youngster in his senior, didn't it? Just went the other way. I'm sure his heart was in his mouth when he could see that Castleford players rushing up, just like they are here when he's carrying the ball away.
That's
Liam
great
Watts
shot from him, though.
It is when Liam Watts is running out the line trying to hit you.
Tongi again. He asked the big men to make some meters for Huddersfield. They are, and Daniel Smith does exactly that.
Good carry, picking out the centre, Michael Shenton, getting through the line.
That was Clough. This is Gaskell. Back it comes to Rankin. Good tackle. Very good tackle by Jake Truman, and I think there's a bit of friendly fire there on Jake Webster. Oops, little fumble by Akumatai. Was Watts high and over the top of the ball? Well, he might have been, but Ben Thaler saw nothing wrong with it. So last tackle for Huddersfield. High off the boot of Brough this goes. There's hang time on this. Eden's after it. Eden claims it. Now, he's caught that on the full. He's got a bit of pace. But Danny Brough himself saw that he wasn't going up the other end of the field.
And he's always dangerous whenever he gets that ball, Greg Eden. Looks to get it open, play, find that gap, catches that ball.
Matautia plays the ball to McShane.
Both of these two teams at the back end of the sets, with Huddersfield, they're going towards Danny Brough's kicking game, and Jake Truman has put a couple of pearlers of kicks at the back end of their sets. Jordan Turner just down on the floor, took a knock.
Castleford play on though. It's Milner. Milner who finds Truman. Truman who finds Matautia. Matautia gets it wide to Webster. Webster pokes his nose through, releases the ball back inside. But nothing doing. And Matongi picks it up. Well, there's a problem for Jordan Turner.
Jordan Turner, all his force, all his body just going on that knee, and it buckles from underneath him.
So a couple of them in the last few weeks, haven't we? He always know when a player stares down like that. Simon Wolford knows that he's a big part of the side. And just see when he goes to plant his foot down, just goes from underneath him.
I don't think we'll see Jordan Turner again tonight. Mind you, they do work miracles on the sideline when they get the injured players off, don't they?
It'll be a good miracle to work on that man, won't it? Obviously, we've got the young Jake Wardle as well. Bill said before, who's off the field, so that'd be the starting centres that might not be available for Simon Wolford, although there he is, the youngster.
He's coming back. Obviously, the concussion test, he's passed it, so he can come back. So that's a centre for a centre. Done well, hasn't he, Simon Wolford, since he arrived?
Yes, I agree. He really seems to have been, from the distance, I haven't been to a single training session. I've only watched every game they've played, but it appears as though they needed a new voice, some new energy at the club. He's provided it. 1 or 2 players like Sway and Matangi has obviously given them a lift as well, but they've been a much better side in the second half of this year than they were the first.
Gordon Turner leaves the field.
Let's go back on tackle 1.
Absent only once this year, not witness in March. Might be missing for a bit of the back end. Mamu now for Huddersfield. First tries in 3 months last week, that hat-trick against Warrington for Jake Mamu.
I think he's a good reliable player, isn't he? The man who's playing the ball now. Goodbye, Paul Clough.
And Kumatayo runs it strongly. And Jake Truman did well to hang on to him. Gaskell with a smack down the other end, picked up nicely by Matautia.
Look at that defensive line. Good chase from Huddersfield. That's the work ethic that the coach would want to see. Again, going up strong, not showing any weakness in the line, keeping your line. No lone soldiers trying to solve the problems themselves.
James Clare here now. 11th appearance on the wing in a row for him, and he's got tries in 3 of the last 4. Roberts. Just over halfway. 4 tackles gone though, only 2 left. And Shane gets it away to Lefeo. Or Seni Lefeo. Last one, Truman again. High kick to the corner. Innis Senior gets it this time. That will boost his confidence.
And that's what the coach wants to see, how you react off the back of making a couple of mistakes. And he certainly stood up. And that man, Jake Wardle, come back onto the field. Cops a high shot.
Yeah, Alden Milner a bit high. Yeah. Jake Wardle only just out of the concussion bin.
Well, that's his speciality, Adam Milner. He's up quick and he's uncompromising on his line speed, and sometimes when there's a very small, short adjustment, it's difficult for a player who's at full tilt. He's a tall player, he's Jake Wardle, and he manages to hit him around the shoulder, and the referee blows the whistle for the let-off for the Huddersfield Giants.
3rd penalty in a row in this second half, all to Huddersfield.
It was heavily against them in the first half, wasn't it? Was it 6-2 in favour of Cass?
Nice maths, Terry. Yes, there you go. 6-5.
I was looking at you then, talking to you.
I haven't got a calculator, no, but looking at me. Leeming, who's waiting at dummy half. This is Paul Clough again. Leeming down the short side, then coming back infield. Releasing the pass. Smith finds Brough. Brough looking to bullet one of those trademarks of his out wide, instead giving it to Oliver Roberts. He's trying to tempt the defenders out of the line. Gets it away to Jordan Rankin. Leeming again. Brough up and over the top and out to this right-hand side. Picked up by Michael Shenton. Now then, Shenton has seen a gap, and Shenton almost through. Important tackle that was by Rankin, and then Huddersfield are penalised.
Well, just opens up for the captain, Michael Shenton. Did well to react, picks up that loose ball, goes forward, looking for the defensive line, looking for the gap in that defensive line, and he earns his side a penalty here, just interference.
First of the second half for Castleford then. Shenton. I wonder if he knows this. He's at 1 try away from becoming the first ever Castleford player to score 100 tries in Super League football for this club. Millington. Do players know things like that when they take the field? Do they look at the records?
Some do, Eddie. Some do.
Well, Terry would know, because he didn't score many.
No. 19 in games and 56 in training.
McShane gives it to Milner. Milner finds Truman. Truman then to Matautia. Out wide they go. Good hands, James Clare. Can he get the ball down? Or have Huddersfield held him up? And that's a question that Ben Thaler will be asking Phil Bentham to answer in a moment. What's his decision on the field? Well, he says There's a hint of a try on the field. Did he bounce the ball? Was he then lifted up after he grounded the ball? Every picture tells a story and the camera never lies, Stuart.
Well, he's just got to get it again, got to get some of the ball down on the ground, and I think, well, you'd probably say that that ball's down on the ground and touching part of the line before he's lifted up by the Huddersfield players. Certainly nothing to overturn the try that we've seen so far, and again I think that's certainly sufficient evidence there that he's actually scored the try. So I think this try will be confirmed.
And there will be a little daylight between Castleford and Huddersfield for the first time tonight.
It looks like Phil Bentham just trying to see that the ball's on the line and is in possession, but I think there's enough there to support the on-field decision of try.
Here we go then. Which button will Phil Bentham press? Red or green? Try it is to Castleford. Try it is to James Clare. 4 tries in his last 5 now for James Clare. He's up to 8 for the season.
Some excellent work from Michael Shenton, picking up the loose ball. Here we go, high kick, and Shenton tries to find some space in a gap, evading defenders. And while he's trying to play that ball as quick as possible, Michael Lawrence gives away the penalty. Lovely sweeping play from left to right, and he's still got a bit to do. James Clare, he has 2 defenders to beat, needs to be nimble on his feet, needs to evade as much as he can just to give himself a chance to get that ball down on the line as a try. Excellent work by James Clare.
Wasn't that a good ball by Metaltia? Oh, the back 3 times then, and Metaltia, when he throws that ball to Clare right on the button in the corner.
Okay, Paul McShane with a difficult kick, 2 from 3. Oh, he makes it look easy. Makes it look so easy, Paul McShane. That's 3 from 4. And Castleford stretch their lead.
Well, I'm sure the Tigers will be aware of the fact that their opponents, Warrington, I should say, Huddersfield's opponents last week, had a similar lead at this point in the second half. It was a good finish by the winger despite the efforts of the defence. And the Giants, with nothing to lose, some say nothing to play for, are a dangerous side themselves here now. They'll take more risks, they'll try more passes, I'm sure, keep the ball alive in this final quarter and become an even more dangerous side to play. They do, of course, though, need to find a way through the Castleford defence, which for the last 90 minutes has looked top 4 standard.
Well, we've seen Jordan Turner leave the field, and Bill's got news of him.
Yeah, it's disappointing news for Jordan Turner and for the Huddersfield Giants. Could be the end of his game tonight, more to the point, probably the end of the game, end of his season, because he has picked up in a tackle earlier on an anterior cruciate ligament injury. That is the suspicion from the Huddersfield Giants, that it is ACL linked, that injury. Certainly a knee problem, but Jordan Turner out for the rest of this evening, potentially the rest of the season.
Sad news for him. Jordan Turner, he'd hardly missed a game until tonight, and the NRL Finals Week 2 are featured tomorrow and over the weekend here on Sky Sports. There are the 2 games we've got for you. That should be a belter on Saturday morning, Souths and St George Illawarra. An hour gone here, meanwhile, at the Mendehouse Jungle, and Huddersfield have got a penalty.
Yeah, he didn't get his timing right on that occasion. The high kick went up, and Jordan Rankin is patiently waiting for that ball to come into his grasp, and he collides with James Clare.
Just wondering, gentlemen, Greg Minikin, he's been out for the last 10 matches. Castleford now 22-12. They're sticking at the moment with Clare and Eden on the wings. I wonder whether we'll see Greg Minikin.
We might see
here before the end.
Could be at centre.
I was just going to say we might see him at centre. Maybe put Jake Webster, give him a run in the middle. Maybe rotate James Webster, but
put him at fullback. Be the 8th, wouldn't it?
I think they see him as a centre. He sees himself as a centre.
Only worst 2.
Came from York as a centre, Eddie.
Numbers mean little, do they?
His long-term future in the game could be at centre, but I think for Jake Webster.
Well, yeah, Jake is departing for Bradford next year, so.
And well done, Castleford, resisting the temptation to go out and buy somebody and give give Greg Minikin the chance.
Is Hinchcliffe, Brough, a fumble by Gaskell, and that results in a knock-on. It was all just a little bit quick, rushed and hurried by.
And you could say that about the defence, Eddie, was quick. That was the thing, wasn't it? The Tigers closed down the time and space so effective. So look there. You know what, you've got to make you make tackles in the middle, you make decisions out wide, and Michael Shenton's decided to run up quickly and then close down Danny Brough. It's an inaccurate pass then, Gaskell can't take it, turnover of possession.
He's forced him into making that play, hasn't he? He knows that if he doesn't pass that ball, he's going to have to word a tackle, and Gaskell, like Phil says, just couldn't take that pass in.
Well, he got a try in his 50th Huddersfield appearance at Warrington last week with Lee Gaskell. And a try in the win here in July. 32-18. Huddersfield won here in July, as I said earlier, one of 3 home defeats for Castleford in 2018. At the moment, they're on course for revenge. 17.5 minutes remaining, and Castleford leading by 10 points. This McMeekan straight into the chest of Gaskell. Kumatai is there. Wardle is there. Nathan Massey now for Castleford. The reason I raised the subject of Minikin is that I know Darryl Powell wants to get all his troops back on the field in readiness for the semi-final. Wants to get a bit of game time under the belts.
Well, competition for places, don't you? That's what you want.
Knock on here by Paul McShane, normally ever reliable.
They're wanting to keep every player on the toes. And Paul McShane just flashes across the back. Junior Moore's probably one of the biggest hookers that you've seen behind dummy half. Just can't execute that pass and give it to his teammate. It's their competition for places, Eddie. The right time of the year is good for any side. Knowing that you can't rest on your laurels, you can't rest on just being the name, whether you're international or not. You've got to make sure that you play the game.
Solid run again from Mamo for Huddersfield.
He's been very good, hasn't he?
He has. He has. And you've got to say that, you know, Simon Wolford in this position, the Super League status is assured for 2019. They are giving some of these youngsters, I'm not saying that Mamo is a youngster, but at 24 he's not ancient. They're giving some of their youngsters the chance to shine, and they've got some of the finest batch of young talent emerging through the club in recent years of Huddersfield.
And with a good pre-season on the back, more time to get that information into him or into the players. Simon Wolford's side will be one to beat.
Brough to Leeming. Here's Paul Clough. Once the poster boy at St Helens. Remember driving into St Helens one night for a game and Paul Clough was on one of the town signs. Paul Clough was playing for the Saints at the time. Here, though, they come to Castleford with Jake Trueman.
It looks like he's got an awful lot of composure, doesn't he, the youngster? Surely contender for Super League Young Player of the Year.
I would think so. He's 19 years of age. Westerman and Clark, Darryl Clark. Westerman in 2008, Darryl Clark 2014. The only other Castleford winners of that title. He's got to have a chance.
Most certainly. They've won some big awards, haven't they, this club, Castleford?
Well, they want the biggest of them all. They want the grand final at Old Trafford on the 13th of October. They want to put the nightmare of last year well and truly behind them. And as I say, confidence is high. Here he is again, Trueman. Sends it away to Matautia. Matautia laterally, then gives it to Massey, a lovely pass. Oh, he went for the return. I think 2 knock-ons. The first one was by Paul Clough.
Well, there's a lot of panic sets in if you're a Huddersfield defender here. And then look at the movement, the footwork from Matautia. He threads Massey through the line, and then you can see Clough comes in. The offload was there, just can't get a clean pass away. Back to Matautia. Just comes off his left hand.
Well, we were talking about possible young players of the year. We're at that stage of the season, of course, where you look for men of steel, young player of the year, coaches of the year, as Roberts takes some treatment. Of more immediate concern is the fact that we have the Betfred Man of the Match to vote on in the next quarter of an hour or so. We'll have 4 names for you to peruse. and then you can vote using the Our League app, as you have been doing all this Super League season, doing so in great numbers as well. And it'll be your chance to decide who goes home with the silver salver and which local or Huddersfield charity gets the prize money. Our League app in around about 4 or 5 minutes time. Who's your man of the match? Terence?
Wow. I've been really impressed with Matangi. Thought Matangi's played well. And Liam Watts on the other side played well as well. Paul McShane, as always, guides them around.
Any backs?
Jake Truman.
Oh, well
Jake Truman would be my shout.
Yeah.
I think James Clare's done some really good stuff.
Philip?
I'm a massive Jake Truman fan, and I've been since I first saw him play. I mean, there must be volunteer coaches, all the people connected with it. The community club in Bradford where he began to play. Here's some of the action here. Jake Truman began playing for a club called West Bowling in the Bradford area. And all of the people who work there give up their time freely to clean the change rooms and prepare a kit and get the pitch ready. Must feel so proud that they've been a part of his journey to what will be, you know, a clearly contender of Young Player of the Year if things go well for him this season, and maybe a Man of Steel at some point in the future. He's got a tremendous career ahead of him, multi-talented, and a great club with 3 coaches who've all played in a similar position to him. Dal Powell, Danny Orr, Ryan Sheridan, all played around the middle of the field, and I'm sure he's surrounded by good ideas at present.
And praise the Lord, he is English. An English number 6, even though he's wears 21. There he is. McMeekin, and operating tonight in the first instance alongside a different scrum half in Ben Roberts. Luke Gale, of course, injured, but they're hoping he'll be back. In fact, he will be back. This is McShane now. On the charges, McMeekin, and he gets the ball down. Does McMeekin, and that's his second try of the night. No, it's not. It's his first try of the night. He created one, didn't he? A try assist in the first half, a try scorer in the second. Mike McMeekin, and that's his 8th try of the season.
Created an awful lot in this game. Powerful runner. I think he's another player who must be up there for the Man of the Match award. You know how dangerous he was in the first half with his offloading game. And this is where they get the ball back. Another set of 6 from them comes off Paul Clubb, close to the own line. And Mike McMeekin again just goes straight and hard. Jordan Rankin, he was picked out earlier on from Junior Moores when he was defending tight to the ruck, and he's picked out again by the other back row in Mike McMeekin, and you just can't stop the juggernaut. So big, so powerful, so quick.
And they've got 2 choices, 2 options here, Castleford Tigers. Do they show that ruthless edge, get better and finish this game on a real high, whether it's on the scoreboard or in the intensity of the game, or do they shrug their shoulders and think they've done enough to win this game?
Well, McMeekin, 3 tries in his last 4, and he got tries in home wins against Huddersfield last year and in 2016, and McShane has added the extras, and 28-12 it is with 13 minutes to go, and I think Huddersfield are staring down the barrels of the 3rd successive win for the first time under Simon Wolford.
Well, we know they can score tries by swinging the ball wide, scoring spectacular efforts with flying wingmen, but they've also got the ability to crash over in the middle of the field, and that means that every team that play against them needs to have a focus across the full width of the pitch.
Widnes Halifax on Saturday from the qualifiers at 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena, followed by Toronto against Toulouse at 5:15, same channel. The qualifiers, it's a fascinating race of the teams hoping and dreaming and praying, first of all, that they stay in Super League, and second of all, dreaming of getting into Super League next year.
Well, Huddersfield have got it all on to score 16 points or more in the final 12 minutes.
All started so brightly for them as well.
And then he showed up well. They've been under an awful lot of pressure in this game. The first half was about 5 or 6 sets that they had to defend on their own line.
Junior Moores battling to keep hold of his feet, but going down under the pressure. McShane at dummy half. Castleford looking to put this game well and truly to bed. Another solid run from Matautia. Here's Truman, a nice stab to the in-goal area. Webster's hunting, and Senior just takes the ball over the line. Tall lad, isn't he, and his Senior? Did you say 6'9", Terry?
He looks that.
Stocking feet.
He's a big lad. Wait till he fills out as well. Well, he's aware of the danger from that kick.
Jake Truman's kicking game's been a different class.
What I like about him, he takes control. Even though he's got senior players around him, he does take control. And that young man, Senior, was aware of the threat. Jake Truman, I think he's been a star this year for Cass.
And the technique he uses, he runs away from the defensive line, almost enticing them to come out, and then just dabs it down and dabs it behind the line with that left boot. Trusted left boot, short kick.
There was a push off the ball here by Huddersfield, and it's a penalty to Castleford.
Opens the sidebar where you can find apps such as Sky News, Sky Sports News HQ, and Help. Press Dismiss to stop a recording or video, or to return to live TV if you're in a menu. Press the standby button on your remote to turn your Sky Q box off or on. Press and hold the standby button to turn your TV off or on.
Available in Sky Store this September. Available in Sky Store this September.
We're gonna form a super duper group.
What do you think? Well, what do you know?
Cue the music.
I think we'll pass. Just kidding.
This might be dangerous, so let's put on our mean faces.
DJ, hit it!
Tell me they got that in slow motion.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Cool?
So cool.
Absolutely right.
Available in Sky Store this September.
CLC World is hot. CLC World is cold. CLC World is green and blue. CLC World is loud and shh. CLC World is your passport to over 3,000 resorts and hotels. And how much does it cost? Go to clcworld.tv. You won't believe what you CLC.
Promote what makes your business great with Vistaprint. Whether it's a business card, banner or flyer, we have the options to create marketing that's right for your business. 250 standard business cards starting at just $9.99 when you use code TV250 at vistaprint.co.uk.
Gareth and Julie, Winston Wolfe. You're looking to insure your house through a price comparison site? Look, if you think you'll only find the best home insurance deal there, then lots of luck.
Coffee, Mr. Wolfe, lots of cream, lots of sugar.
Oh, thanks, Morag. I'll see you crazy kids around.
At Marbles, we work hard to accept you and put you in control, even if you have a poor credit history. So get your application rolling at marbles.com today.
You always think it's going to be someone else that's going to be a winner, and it could happen to anyone, and it happened to me.
I just won the postcode lottery. Love it.
I take it you're happy, my darling.
I'm over the moon with it.
You're in this lottery every single day. Chance to win £10, chance to win 1,000, chance to win 30, and who knows, you could win massive.
Sign up before midnight on the 20th of September to play in October.
It's £10 a month. You've just got to join it.
HelloFresh sends you on a delicious journey in the comfort of your own home, delivering all the fresh quality ingredients you need and easy-to-follow recipes. Try something new from our delicious weekly menu. Make it from scratch, and then simply enjoy. HelloFresh. Dinner is solved. Make dinner time delicious and save 30% on your first 3 boxes.
Big man delivered. Goal from their main man.
Fabulous one. What a finish to match.
3 great matchups on another action-packed weekend. Live on Sky Sports Premier League.